The war between Earth and the Saren Dominion had dragged on for 11 bloody years. We weren't supposed to last more than one. The Saren were faster, stronger, born with natural armor that shimmered like polished obsidian under alien suns. They called themselves the Perfected. To them, we were unrefined, clever animals with too much fire and too little grace. I'd been drafted at 22, fought on 3 planets, and buried more friends than I could count. By the time we reached AIandHumans, the last contested colony, I was just a man who wanted to make it through one more sunrise. That's where I met her, the Saren commander, Vera Keitel. Her name alone made soldiers flinch. They said she could cut through a tank with her plasma glaive, that her armor could deflect a rail round. I didn't believe half the rumors. Until she captured me. It happened after my unit was wiped in an ambush near the Ridge of Glass, a wasteland of scorched sand and melted stone. I was dragging myself toward a half-buried escape pod when I heard her voice. "Human, drop your weapon." I turned, and there she was, towering, radiant, and terrifying. Her armor was a sculpted carapace of black metal, etched with violet sigils pulsing faintly. Her eyes, visible through a slitted visor, glowed like molten silver. I was too tired to fight, so naturally I did what any idiot would. I cracked a joke. "Nice armor," I said, coughing through the dust. "Does it come in human sizes? Might look good on me." For a moment, she didn't move. Then she tilted her head slightly, a gesture that could have meant confusion or amusement, or maybe both. "Humans joke when they face death?" she asked, her voice metallic and sharp. "Only the crazy ones," I muttered. She raised her glaive, then hesitated. "You are unarmed. You will be taken for questioning." I thought that meant interrogation. Instead, it meant weeks in a Saren war camp, treated as both curiosity and inconvenience. Middle, the joke that went too far. The Saren didn't understand humor. Or maybe they did, but they didn't get it. My words confused them more than my defiance ever could. They kept me in a glass cell, letting me wander the courtyard at certain hours. Vera herself would come by occasionally, standing like a statue, watching as if she was trying to decode me. On the 7th day, she spoke again. "Why did you jest when I threatened you?" I shrugged. "Because fear gets boring. Laughter's cheaper than courage." She didn't reply, but I swore I saw something, a flicker behind that glowing visor. Interest, maybe. A week later, I was assigned to help repair captured human tech. That's when I noticed her visiting more often. Sometimes she'd stand silently. Other times, she'd ask questions. Why do humans build weapons that injure themselves with recoil? Why do you bury your fallen instead of consuming them to reclaim strength? Why do you risk yourself for those unrelated by blood? I answered in the only way I knew, sarcasm, bad jokes, and pieces of truth. Because we're stupid, I'd say. But the good kind of stupid. She never laughed, but once when I said, "Maybe you should try joking sometime," I heard the faintest sound from her helmet, a hum that wasn't mechanical. A chuckle. That night, she came to my cell alone. "You speak of choice," she said. "Of doing things not for logic, but heart. I cannot understand that." "Then maybe you're missing out," I said. "Ever tried being irrational?" Her eyes glimmered brighter. "No. It is forbidden." "Then it must be fun." For the first time, she removed her helmet. Her face was not what I expected. Not monstrous, beautiful, in an alien way. Smooth gray skin marked by faint blue bioluminescent lines that pulsed gently, like veins of light. Her silver eyes reflected the stars. "Your humor," she said softly, "is dangerous." "So's your face," I whispered before I could stop myself. She blinked, slow, deliberate. "Explain." "I mean you're distracting." Not great for a prisoner's concentration. For a heartbeat, silence hung between us. Then, to my utter disbelief, she smiled. It was small, subtle, but real. I see, she said. Dangerous indeed. The turning point, when the joke became real. Weeks turned to months. Battles raged beyond the camp, but inside its walls, something strange happened. Peace. Vera kept visiting. We talked about humans, about her people, about why both sides couldn't stop killing each other. She was curious about Earth, about the oceans, the music, the sky. One evening, she asked, "Do you miss your world?" "Every damn day," I said. "But talking to you makes it a little less heavy." Her eyes softened. "You should not say such things. It creates conflict." I grinned. "I'm good at those." Then, half-jokingly, I said, "If you ever decide to quit this war thing, I'd marry you." I meant it as a tease. A stupid line to make her roll her eyes. But instead, she froze. The glow in her eyes dimmed, then flared bright again. "You would bind with one not of your kind?" I laughed nervously. "It's just a saying, Vera. A joke." She looked at me for a long time, studying my face as though trying to read what my words truly meant. Then she whispered, "Perhaps not all jokes are lies." After that night, everything changed. Her visits grew longer. Her tone softened. And one day, when a group of Saren officers accused her of sympathizing with me, she defended me publicly. That act alone could have gotten her executed. Instead, she was reassigned, demoted, disgraced. The next time I saw her was under fire. Battlefield of glass. The camp fell under attack by human forces. Orbital bombardment followed by ground assault. Amid the chaos, my cell shattered from a nearby explosion. I staggered out, coughing through the smoke, searching for an escape. That's when I saw her, Vera, her armor cracked, plasma blade in hand, standing between me and a collapsing wall. "You must go," she shouted. "Your people are reclaiming the ridge, and leave you here? It is my duty." "Screw duty," I said, grabbing a fallen rifle. "You saved me. I'm not leaving you." Her visor turned toward me, voice trembling. "You are a fool, human." "Yeah," I said. "But the good kind of stupid, remember? We fought side by side, human and alien, against her own kind." The battlefield burned violet and gold, shadows moving through smoke and glass. At one point, she was struck across the chest, her armor splitting open. I dropped to my knees beside her. "Vera." She reached up, fingers brushing my cheek. "Go. Please. Not without you." Her gaze locked onto mine. Then, slowly, deliberately, she reached up and began to remove her armor. Piece by piece, it fell away, clattering onto the glassy ground. Beneath the black shell was something fragile, glowing faintly, veins of blue light tracing her skin. She looked almost human. Too human. "Vera, what are you doing?" Her voice was a whisper. "You once said you would marry me. Do humans honor their words?" I froze, heart pounding. That was a joke. "I know," she said, smiling faintly, "but I no longer believe it was." And then she leaned forward, pressing her forehead against mine, a Saren gesture of bond. When she did, her bioluminescent markings shimmered brighter, and something impossible happened. My skin burned, not painfully, but with heat and light. The tattoo on my forearm, a faded mark from my old unit, began to glow in sync with her veins. "What the?" "Our energies," she breathed. "They resonate. You are compatible." Before I could respond, a Saren soldier appeared, raising his weapon. Vera reacted instantly, shoving me aside, taking the plasma bolt square to her side. She collapsed in my arms, armor pieces scattered like black petals. Vera, she smiled weakly. Now you see me. And then the blast wave hit, ending the light that wouldn't fade. I woke up days later aboard a human cruiser. They said I'd been pulled from the wreckage, half dead, clutching fragments of alien armor. The medics couldn't explain the faint blue light still pulsing through my veins. Command wanted to know what happened. I told them the truth, or most of it. They dismissed it as trauma delirium. But at night, when the lights dimmed, I could feel it, her heartbeat, faint and steady, somewhere out there. Months passed. The war ended. The Saren withdrew beyond the rim. I was discharged, decorated, forgotten. But I couldn't forget her. The glow beneath my skin never faded, and sometimes it flared, pulsing like it did that day when she pressed her forehead to mine. Then, one evening, as I stood watching the sunset over the ocean, I heard her voice, soft, distant, but unmistakable. Eli. I turned, and there she was, no armor, no weapon, standing in the golden light. Vera, I whispered. They said humans keep promises, she said, smiling. You owe me a marriage, remember? My throat went dry. You're alive. Her eyes shimmered. Bound. To you. Through your mark. You kept me alive. I stepped forward, heart pounding. Guess the joke's really over, huh? She laughed, a sound like wind over crystal. No. It has only begun. And when she reached for my hand, the blue and human light merged once more, glowing against the twilight as two worlds finally stopped fighting.